The maneuvers to delay the tabling of reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission remains a contentious matter, especially since the legal opinion on which this delay is purportedly based has been withheld from parliamentarians and the wider public. When the former Speaker was forced to resign as a result of an Integrity Commission investigation, the move to replace her with the wife of the Prime Minister, so that the head of Parliament is now the spouse of the head of government, really does not sit well with the tradition that the Speaker must act independently of the government of the day. The Speaker is intended to be independent and must act independently of the government of the day. That is the tradition. That is the tradition. The failure, Mr. Speaker.
Members.
The failure to identify the so-called illicit 6 MPs.
The Attorney General is the lawyer for the government, not for the Parliament. If the Speaker asks for an opinion from an attorney, doesn't even have to be the Attorney General. It's a matter for the Speaker whether the Speaker wants to share it with the House. The last Speaker, I understand, asked for an opinion from the Attorney General. As Speaker, the new Speaker can take it and the new Speaker can determine whether or not she shares it with the Parliament. It's a matter totally for her. And may I just say one thing? You know, I've been sitting down watching the to and fro. I was a former Speaker. The Speaker of the House rulings are final. If we have a dispute with the rulings, we go back to the standing order, or in the case of the IC, we go back to the IC and change them. Parliament can do that, or the standing committee can change the committee. But I don't think it is appropriate, what I have been seeing, interrogating the Speaker in this House. Asking the Speaker, why are you not doing this? When you're going to share opinion? And if the Speaker does not provide it, that's the end of the matter. It is the end of the matter if the Speaker doesn't provide it. Because the ruling of the Speaker is final. And I can tell you, as a former Speaker who have conversed with speakers across the Commonwealth, there are always parliaments, and they disagree with speakers. But at the end of the day, they respect the ruling of the Speaker, and at the end of the matter. I mean, you know, I've not said it before, but I'm saying it now. It could be partisan as much as you like, but the position is, this ruling and the position of the Speaker is final. You want it, let's face it, you know. We can go back, and Member Robinson is on the Integrity Commission that looking at the Joint Select Committee. You want to change it and say how it must be done? You go there and we change it. The standing order, you want to change it at the standing order committee, everything can be changed. All of that, disputes with the Speaker, you change it at those committees. But it doesn't look good for you to be interrogating the Speaker inside the Parliament. You undermine the integrity of the Speaker when you start interrogating her in this case. It's not good. Not good.
Let me say, Madam Speaker, this issue arose where I, as a member, challenged the former Speaker on a ruling she made. She indicated she would seek the advice of the Attorney General on the matter, right? Having sought the opinion of the Attorney General, she didn't do so in a private capacity. She sought it because there was a dispute about how matters of this nature should be dealt with. Now, having made a ruling, which you have, right, you should share with us the opinion of the Attorney General so that we can understand the thinking behind the ruling. We have seen the Parliamentary Legal Counsel, right? And that Parliamentary Legal Counsel has a right to opine. But we have an opinion from the government's chief legal advisor, and that opinion should be shared with us.
I have been observing the commentary, Madam Speaker, over the last several weeks. And as someone who has some cursory understanding of how government works, the opinions, you will have a cursory understanding very shortly as well. The opinions of the Attorney General was requested by the Speaker of the House, not by the opposition. The legal advisor to the Parliament is the Parliamentary Council. You have absolutely no obligation, Madam Speaker, to share an opinion from the Attorney General to the government, to the opposition. You may do it because of your good nature, but you have no such obligation. And we have been subjected as a country to some very disgusting and inappropriate commentary by members of the opposition about the integrity and good sense of the Speaker, and I don't believe that this House should tolerate it. I do not believe they have sought to caricature. Hold on. They have sought to caricature the Speaker as hiding. They have sought to caricature the Speaker as hiding reports. They have gone on national television and radio to make the public believe. Madam Speaker, the simple point I'm making is that the opinions of the Attorney General are not the opinions to the opposition. They are the opinions to the government. The opinion of the Parliamentary Council, the opinions of the Parliamentary Council are the opinions that can be tabled in the House. You have absolutely no obligation to share the opinion of the government's legal advisor with the opposition.
I think the Speaker's recognized.
Let the opposition leader
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
speak.
Madam Speaker, so when a Speaker seeks an opinion from the Attorney General, the Speaker does so as the umpire of Parliament, in the capacity as Speaker of this House. And the context in which that opinion was sought was a matter that had been raised and was of some contention as to how these reports would be treated when they come to Parliament. It is in that context that the opinion was sought from the Attorney General. Having received that opinion, the right and transparent thing to do would be to share it with the members of Parliament. The members of Parliament. Everyone here on both sides, whether you're government or opposition, is neither here nor there. It is an opinion that was rendered on an important procedural matter affecting the governance of this country and its Parliament. And we have a right as members of Parliament to know the contents of that opinion and whether or not the reasoning is sound as to how the change has been implemented, as to how these reports are to be treated with. Why would anyone want to hide the advice that the Speaker is relying on in making a ruling that affects all of us in here? It is not good policy, it is not good governance, and I ask you, Madam Speaker, as the umpire of proceedings in this House, to consider the matter in that light and to share the opinion with us, and also to consider whether we should not go back to the convention that has served this country well. Thank you, Madam.
Madam Speaker, it's, I can't believe that the leader of the opposition can, as a lawyer, can make these points. The Speaker can always seek advice, as the Speaker has done in asking for the advice of the Attorney General, and having received the advice of the Attorney General, the Speaker makes a ruling, and that ruling is final. To ask what is in the Attorney General's advice to allow the Speaker to make the advice. Indeed, Madam Speaker, the advice of the Attorney General, the advice of the Attorney General chambers can be easily dismissed by the Speaker. Because, and if you need to learn. You need to learn. Members of the opposition, the Speaker is not always right. The Speaker is not always right, but the ruling is always final. Whether right or wrong, the ruling is always final. And so the Speaker having used or have the advice of the Attorney General, she doesn't have to share it. End of the matter.
Members, please order in the House. I will read again one statement made in the ruling last week. If you review the sitting of the House, July 4, 2023, you will see that Member Robinson was at pains to advise the former Speaker that the Attorney General advises the government or the executive and does not advise the Parliament. The opinion sought by the Attorney General from the Attorney General by the Speaker is for the guidance of the Speaker in coming to a determination. As I indicated, it does not absolve the Speaker from clearly understanding the legislation. The Speaker would have gone even further than the Attorney General in reviewing the records of Hansard, both from the Senate and the House in respect of their deliberations on the matter. The Speaker would have gone further, as also recommended by Member Robinson to the former Speaker, that one wondered whether the Parliamentary Legal Counsel was consulted. In my ruling last week, I ensured the House clearly understood that all the documents submitted from the Attorney General, all the correspondence from the former Speaker, all the correspondence from the Auditor General were passed to the Parliamentary Legal Counsel. Notwithstanding all of that effort, ultimately the Speaker has a duty to the people of the country as well as the Parliament to ensure that the ruling is sound in law. The ruling of the Speaker is in keeping with the law and the standing orders of this Parliament. The ruling of the Speaker is not inconsistent with the law. So when there are issues that arise in the Parliament that come to blows from different members of the House, it causes the Speaker to have to look closer at the law and the standing orders which govern us within the House and make a ruling. And that was done. In the ruling, I said the opinion of the Parliamentary Legal Counsel, which considered all correspondence between the Parliament, the Attorney General, and the Auditor General, is available for your perusal. I went further to ask the Parliament to email to every member of the House the ruling and the opinion of the Parliamentary Legal Counsel. You are currently, as a Parliament, in the process of going through a review of the said Integrity Commission Act in a joint select committee of the entire Parliament, meaning both the Senate and the House, both the government and the opposition side. That is your opportunity as legislators to fix anything that you had wanted to be said differently. This Speaker has ruled in keeping with exactly how the law is worded. Equally, the following day, a member moved a motion so that also at the standing orders level, at that committee level, the members of the House can decide how you want to amend going forward the entire membership. The members of the House, all committees within the House are a reflection of the House. And all committees within the House need to be understood, members. They are the workhorse of the Parliament. That is where we are supposed to dig very deep, interrogate and argue issues. There are no reports at all in contention that have not been laid and properly laid. Not one report has come that has not been laid up to today. And this has been the case for weeks. Members, respectfully, the ruling is settled and you have recourse through the standing orders if you so desire. I am making an effort to ensure that when history is written, this Speaker does what is right in the sight of the law.
You know, Madam Speaker, for every year when I was in the role of Attorney General, I took time to point out the critical importance of accuracy and reading the law. Every single year. One year, Minister Tufton, the honorable member from St. Catherine, West Central, asked me if I were looking to be fired. In fact, a member from that side also made the same comment. And I'm happy to be here in the House today to hear you as Speaker underscoring the importance of abiding by the law. Madam Speaker, let us begin with the standing orders. The standing orders are regulations of the Constitution of Jamaica. And the Constitution of Jamaica is our highest law. I know that many of the orders are honored in breach instead of observance, but I am very pleased to hear that you understand the importance of the standing orders. And that leads me to craving your indulgence, just to point out to the House that the question about whether a report from the Integrity Commission is to be considered by the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee is answered at Standing Order 73DE. And I just invite members' attention, and in particular the member who is also a member of the Oversight Committee, because that standing order, which speaks to the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee 73D, explicitly provides that the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee shall have the duty of convening and considering a report submitted to Parliament under Section 36 of the Integrity Commission Act. And it goes on to say that it is to be done within 30 days of the submission of the report. And just by way of reminder, Madam Speaker, that provision of the Integrity Commission Act speaks to all of the reports from the Commission. It begins with the reports that the Parliament reports on matters referred to it from the Parliament, investigating an act of corruption. It speaks to the annual report of the Integrity Commission, and it also speaks to other sets of reports. So the Commission may at any time be required by either House of Parliament to investigate a matter. When it is reported, that matter, that report, can go to the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. The Commission shall, no sooner than 3 months after the end of each financial year and within such longer period as the Parliament may approve, submit to the Parliament its annual report. Those may go to the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee. And then the Commission may at any time submit a report relating to any particular matter which, in the opinion of the Commission, requires the special attention of the Parliament. All of those are Section 36 matter, which the standing order says the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee has a duty to consider, Madam Speaker. And I think we don't have to quarrel, because the law is publicly promulgated. This is not something that is being made up overnight. And the standing orders guide the proceedings in the House. So I think, Madam Speaker, that we don't have to continue to quarrel. Sending a report in accordance with the rules to the committee is not delaying it. And you know, Madam Speaker, that leads me to the comment that was made about taking the time to read matters before they are placed on the floor of the House. Again today, I could almost shout hallelujah, because in my former role, I complained so much that not sufficient attention was placed to ensuring that the matters tabled in the Parliament were read and accurate. And there are many examples and moments when material had to be pulled from the Parliament because of inaccuracy. And so it should never be seen as an attempt to delay any matter, because an opportunity is being taken to read the matter to ensure that, as a presiding officer, you know what is coming before the House. In fact, you would be derelict in your duty if it were otherwise, Madam Speaker. And that leads me to the third matter, and that is the matter of the reports of the Auditor General. I remind everyone, maybe there is no need for reminder, that the Auditor General, the Office of Auditor General is a constitutional office pursuant to Section 120, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Jamaica. And under Section 122, subsection 2, the Auditor General is mandatorily required to submit her annual audit reports of specified entities. And the Constitution specifies those entities, and they include, but are not limited to, the accounts of all departments and the offices of the Government of Jamaica, including the offices of the Cabinet and the 3 Services Commission, Judicial, Police, and Public Service. And, Madam Speaker, the Constitution says that the reports are to go to the Speaker, who shall cause them to be laid before the House of Representatives. The Auditor General is also empowered to perform other functions in relation to the accounts of the Government of Jamaica and the accounts of other public authorities and other bodies administering public funds in Jamaica, as may be prescribed by or under any other law. You know, Madam Speaker, I was smiling when I heard you explain the difference, because many parliamentarians do not know that there is central government and there is the rest of government, and what comprises. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, before anyone comes down.
Please allow the member to speak. The member is actually very correct. I have been at committee meetings of the PAAC where the permanent secretaries are being badgered to comment on public bodies that do not report to them, that they have no idea about. And it is a big part of the reason why the reassessment was done of what was the intent of the legislators. Member Malafort.
Madam Speaker,
Minister, go ahead, please.
I don't wish to lose the point I want to make. The point is that the Auditor General is mandated to make reports pursuant to the Constitution. And the Constitution also permits the Office of Auditor General to perform other functions in relation to the accounts of the Government of Jamaica and the accounts of other public entities, and in fact, even entities outside of Jamaica. And that is pursuant to any other law in force. And that leads me to 2 such laws, Madam Speaker, that you refer to: the Financial Administration and Audit Act and the Public Bodies, the PBMA. Madam Speaker, Part 4 of the FAA speaks to audits, and in particular, sections 29 and 30 speaks to the report of the Auditor General. And I wonder, Madam Speaker, whether the reports sent to Parliament indicate under which section the Auditor General is performing her functions. And though I am not in a
I will
role,
answer, member, the question when you are through.
If the reports do not, Madam Speaker, may I respectfully suggest for your consideration that in your role as Speaker, you ask that going forward, the Auditor General specify under which section the report is being submitted. And the reason for that, Madam Speaker, is that different things flow, different obligations arise depending on the section under which the report is being submitted. So for those who would take the time to look at section 29 of the FAA, that's the Financial Administration and Audit Act, the Auditor General is mandated to report under that section, Madam Speaker. And when the report gets to the Parliament, those reports are to be laid as soon as possible. And I don't think as soon as possible would be delayed by the Speaker or any of the parliamentary staff reading and ensuring that what is to be placed before the House is properly before the House. But you know, Madam Speaker, there is Section 30, under which the Auditor General may also perform functions and submit a report. And the point you made about understanding which accounts and which bodies are being audited is a critical point. Because if it is a public body, Madam Speaker, the Auditor General, once she exercises the discretion given to her to act under that section, she is obliged to do certain other things. And I believe that is where the contention has been, Madam Speaker. But you know, natural justice requires that you do not come to an adverse conclusion without giving an opportunity to the person being investigated to be heard. And also for the good management of the affairs of Jamaica, it is essential that the matters specified in Section 30 of the FAA be complied with. And so, Madam Speaker, I suggest for your consideration and to take the noise away from this, that you ask that going forward, the section under which the reports are being submitted be specified. And where a matter is coming under Section 30 of the FAA, please note that unless and until the matters specified in the section are complied with, such a report is not to come to the Parliament. And that is not hiding anything, that is not obstructing justice, but it is what is required. And God forbid, if we parliamentarians cannot respect the law, then who else will? The last matter before I take my seat, Madam Speaker. I hear the request for the opinion of the Attorney General's chambers to be shared. I should like to say that as a general rule, there is no requirement for anyone who seeks the opinion of the chambers for guidance to share it, as a general rule. And some may disagree with me because of the subject matter in question, but the general rule stands. If you as Speaker needs guidance and you seek a guidance, there is nothing which says that you must share the guidance, as a general rule. In this specific matter, however, your predecessor in office indicated that she was awaiting further details. And you yourself, Madam Speaker, indicated that you would be guided by it. For my part, I can't see anything that could not be shared. But I think it is important that should you choose to share it, it is not taken to be a precedent to expect that in every case where advice is sought, there is any obligation to share it. So in respect of reports from the Auditor General, if the reports are under 29, they are to be tabled after you have satisfied yourself that the matter is properly to come before the House. And if they are under 30, you're also to satisfy yourself that what is set out in the section has been complied with, Madam Speaker. So permit me, before I take my seat, to commend you, because today is a good day for me. It's a really good day for me. I'm very pleased to hear your insistence. And I'm happy to hear that others feel the same way. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Member. I should indicate that not one audit of public bodies has ever been submitted to the Parliament under the section required either by the FAA Act or the Public Bodies Act. And it is particularly for this reason why the effort is being made to observe the law, observe the intention of the lawmakers, and to ensure that the law is applied accordingly. Members, I thank you for your intervention and contribution, which reaffirms the rulings today. I am convinced every one of us, all 63 of us in this Parliament, should be encouraged to read the legislations thoroughly when they come to this House. The Constitution of Jamaica and the standing orders that govern this House. I will further say that this Speaker's position, the position of Speaker in the House of Parliament of Jamaica, is not a position that engages in debates and descends into the arena with the members of the House. In future, you can expect that that will be my posture, and that posture will continue while I preside. Thank you, members.